Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Paradigm Shift. Today, we are in conversation with Brigadier Amulya Mohan, former director of Sainik Kalyan UP. Good morning, Brigadier. How are we doing this morning?
Thank you very much. I'm fine. Thank you.
So, before we begin, let me read a little bit about you. Amulya Mohan joined NDA in Jan 1973, got commissioned in the 2nd Battalion, the Rajput Regiment, in December 1976. He served the army for over 36 years. He was awarded the Vishisht Seva Medal for the command of 2 Assam Rifles Battalion in insurgency area. Later, he was awarded the Sena Medal in 2011. After retirement from regular army, he did yeoman services for retired defense personnel, widows, and dependents as Director Sainik Kalyan Evam Punarvas of UP for 5 years. 2013 to 2018. Married to Sangeeta Mohan from Lucknow. She was teaching at various schools. His elder son is director, screenwriter in Bollywood, while the younger son, Major Chinmay, is serving the nation in his father's unit, presently flying army helicopters at Leh. That is super impressive. So, Brigadier, shall we get right into it?
Yeah. Uh, Thank you very much, Deepshikha. It's a real pleasure to come on Paradigm Shift. I've been following your programs and they're very educative and you are talking to a lot of people. And before we go on the main topic of today, let me first salute our medicos, our nurses, our paramedic staff, our municipal corporation staff, government, and of course, the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and the leaders serving the nation 24/7. We also salute the number of NGOs who are carrying out last rites of people who nobody has to look after without any incentive. So, a big salute to them.
Right. That is beautiful. Thank you so much for that. So let's get into the questions. What was your childhood like?
Sorry, I didn't get it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. What was your childhood like? What were the early days like?
Oh, the childhood was nice. Being the youngest of six siblings, I was the toy of the family, the Gudda, and we were at Agra. So as I was there, I studied in the best schools, St. Francis and St. Peter's. As time went by, we had the 1965 war with Pakistan, and that's the time we saw some action because Agra is a major Air Force base.
Mhm.
Uh, all my friends saw my inclination and they used to say to jayega fauj mein. So that was it. And as I must also tell the audience that my father fought for the freedom of the country, and so was my
Right.
uncle, late Shri
Right.
Brijmohan Bhatnagar and Shri Harmohan. So I tried
Right.
to follow them.
That is beautiful. So this was your motivation to join the army?
Well, that is right. Actually, what happened was that after the 65 war, we kept seeing a lot of photographs, a lot of our senior generals speaking to the young boys of various schools.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere down the line, I thought I might also join a military school. And in
Okay.
1966, I appeared for the examination for the Uttar Pradesh Sainik School, Lucknow.
Mm-hmm.
And fortunately, I could join there in the next year in class 7, which is now renamed as Manoj Pandey Paramveer Chakra Sainik School. This gallantly, this gallant soldier belonged to our school. So
Okay.
that was the motivation, and I think rightly so, I did join the services later.
Amazing. So, can you give us an insight about your long, glorious army career? 36 years, that's a long time.
Yeah, Deepshikha, the as they say, army. If you train well in peace, you bleed less in war. So right from National Defense Academy and the military academy, we had a tough training, both physical, mental, and make us morally straight. So we had a long training schedule of 3 years at National Defence Academy, Khadakwasla, Pune, and 1 year at Military Academy. I was commissioned, as you mentioned earlier, in the Rajput Regiment in December 76. And when you join the battalion, then it's a different ball game. You are there with your troops. You learn how to behave with them. You learn how to train them, how to learn from them, because they have more experience.
Right.
And I'm very fortunate to be under very senior, seasoned officers who had fought the 70th War. General V.K. Singh, who is now a minister in the Government of India, General Thomas Matthew, and others, who put me on the right track. As time went by, I cleared my professional and promotion examinations and cleared the prestigious Staff College exam at Wellington, and finally got promoted to the rank of full colonel, which is the command of battalion. I was in Manipur in the insurgency area, and it was very interesting. Every day there was some operation going on, and I say with conviction that I tried to do my best. Then I came to Delhi on posting after my long 4 years tenure. And there again, unfortunately, the incidents which started happening in Delhi in 2000 were finding grenades here and there. And finally, you all are aware, the 13th December 2000 Red Fort shootout, where we lost 2 of our men in the Rajput battalion there.
Right.
So we had to again, Kilabandi of Delhi, Cant and other areas. And I was in touch with the Delhi police and the various agencies. And a year later, you are aware, the Parliament was attacked, Parliament House, and we had another casualties, unfortunate. And in all this, the army had quite a role in helping out the local police. So that's how it went on and on. And finally, I was promoted to the rank of brigadier. So I went on to command a brigade in the northeastern sector of the Chinese border. And then as time went by, I came back to command a sub-area, as we call it, looking after logistics of our entire corps and various units. And 30th April, 9 years back, I retired from the regular army. That was my long career. And as you mentioned, I was awarded twice by the President of India.
Amazing. So, Brigadier, do you have any stories to tell us from your career? Any highs, any setbacks, any any things that pop to your head, like when we talk about your career?
Yeah, very much. There are so many highs. Of course, the high in the family is when you get married to a very nice lady. And of course, coming to the professional highs, well, this Defence Staff College exam is a competitive exam. Clearing that was one of the things. Then in the Assam Rifles battalion in Imphal, we used to have number of operations. If you have 100 operations, you will be successful on only 1 or 2. So one of the operations, we were just sitting down and having a discussion, and suddenly we got input, and I sent my officers, and we could capture a very good underground camp, and we could eliminate undergrounds, and of course got a lot of weapons, which was very well appreciated by the people in Manipur, both government and the army.
Right.
Well, in one of the operations in Manipur, I must mention that 2 of our Indian Alliance staff were kidnapped, and we had very good information that they will be kept in this house. And we searched the whole house, and somehow these people hid somewhere. And a couple of hours later, I find the police people found them in the same house. So I always remember that incident where, and of course, losing a few men in our operation was a sad part, which we have to carry on.
Yes. Right. Okay. So, Brigadier, basically army life is very tough for the officer and the family. How does one strike a balance and stay close to the offspring, and like how does one do that?
Yeah. Very much, one has to stay in a non-family station. So did my family stay for almost 9 to 10 years at the separate family quarters. You see, I would put it this way: as officers, our ladies are educated. They can take care of the children.
Right.
But and we have a good support system in the army, where the place where you keep your family, the command headquarters area looks after canteen facilities, others, and medical facilities. But I would say that for the Jawans, it is tough. Our JCOs and Jawan, their wives are not so educated. The children are, and since they are small, so we also do have a system for them. But if they're staying in their villages, it's difficult for them. And
Right.
as rightly, a lot of people have talked about that, he just comes home for 2 months in a year. And even when we get posted to a family station, we don't get 100% of families allowed to stay in the
Okay.
station.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
so it is tough. It is tough. But
Yeah.
we went through it.
Correct. So, moving on to the next question, keeping the army young is
Yep.
basically one of the problems. How is the management of such a large trained manpower, done post retirement? This was like the major reason for this interview, since you were, Sainik Kalyan, Director Sainik Kalyan. So let's get into this.
Deepshika, very right. Keep the army young. And as you go around in Bombay, other places, you find pot-bellied policemen. I mean, people moving around in a very shabby manner. I'm sure you haven't found an army man like that. So the
Right.
reasons are both, because the policeman retires at the age of 60, while our Jawans are given a very limited service. A
Right.
sepoy or up to a knight retires after about 18 years of service. And
Oh,
yeah, the only good thing with the government is accepted is that they are given full pension even
hmm.
after retiring. There, while in the other government services now they are you have to pay. I mean, you subscribe monthly everything for the pension. So our defense forces have been given that exception. That is a great thing. Now,
Hmm.
uh, as I was mentioning, after I retired, I joined the Central Command at Lucknow, and I was being tasked on re-employment to take care of the ex-servicemen. And after a year, I was very fortunate to be selected as director of Sainik Kalyan. It's also called the Raj Sainik Board, where we take care of all the ex-servicemen, widows, dependents. Now, I learned a lot during that time. Now, coming back to the point which you started with, you see, a technical person, say for example, a vehicle mechanic, a
Hmm.
communication man, an engineer, they are lucky, both in care officers as well as men. They do get, of
Right.
course, the medical staff. A lot of them are employed in various hospitals and everything. The problem comes of the fighting soldier, the one with a gun, the one with a artillery weapon, the one tank man, whose only experience is, weapons and systems.
Right.
Now, I heard an interview of Captain Raghu Raman earlier. So these same men today, they may be just class 10 pass or class 12, some of them are graduates also, have also now acquired a lot of skills, because now a small weapon, for example, a mortar, that's got a sight. We have radars, we have anti-tank missiles, they all use the mortar
Yeah.
system. So he's also partly trained, may not be 100%.
Right.
So the biggest problem is these guys, these boys who retire early. Now, every state has got a similar system. Like I was in Uttar Pradesh, the biggest state with 75 districts. So we try and adjust these people in various government departments, right?
Right.
And also banks take a lot of these people. Well, what we do before retirement is some sort of vocational training.
Okay.
But then I would also say that this is a gray area even today. because at one time the government of India decided that we will shift these retired people into paramilitary forces. But for some technical reasons, they said they'll not take it. So this is the issue which will continue. We'll talk later again about this.
Okay. So what were your challenges as Director Sainik Kalyan, and how did you manage them, and how did you this, and what could be more possible solutions to, like you said about these paramilitary soldiers? What could be the possible solution for them?
Yeah, Deepshika, the issue was that the Sainik Kalyan department is a very small department, and very sorry to say that before I joined, there was a gap of almost 6-7 years when there was no regular director. So when I took over, I had a challenge of number of officers, because every district is supposed to have an officer, which wasn't there. So there were just about 25-30, while we have 75 districts. So I took up with my secretary and the government that we should have more officers, and as time went, I managed to get about 50 plus officers. Then staff, we managed to recruit some staff, the clerical.
Amazing. Yeah.
So that was one. And then I slowly tried to say that what is our aim? Our aim is to look after ex-servicemen. As also I must say that any soldier, who comes on leave, he also comes to the Dilla Sainik Kalyan for various things. Now, one more issue which Deepshika I'd like to mention, because the Jawans retired early, a lot of their children are young, and even some children are born after they retire. So now their records are not straight, like when they retire, they don't bother. Now, when the child comes up in class 12 for a medical seat, which some benefits are there in states, his name is missing, her or his name missing. So that was a major thing I tried to convey to my various letters, to various record officers, that their record should be updated. And after they retire, the district soldiers board is their commanding officer.
Okay.
So then challenges were that the bureaucracy in every state, they are always tough. But I could manage to get a major achievement, which I feel very strongly about. In UP, we had no system of a job for a martyr's widow. So finally, when the present government came to power and we met Honorable Chief Mr. Yogi Ji, he was very kind, and so now a martyr's widow, that is the Shaheed, his wife or brother, sister, if he was not married, gets a class 3 job. There is a clerical job.
Okay.
So far, I've checked with my successor, about 20 such widows have been given jobs. These are basically JCOs and Jawans wives.
Excellent.
Then I could manage to increase the award money for gallantry awards, getting some exemption from the registration stamp duty fee for houses, flats.
Yeah.
And the previous awardees who were older, we could get some money for them. That was from the state government side.
Right.
So so that was what I could do, and I left a legacy of carrying on with this, and my successor is doing the same job.
Amazing. That is an amazing feat, because yes, that is very, very important. So how do you think the corporate sector can help in the resettlement of these servicemen, and can the CSR be used for CSR funds can be used for the betterment of these people?
Absolutely. This is a very interesting thing, and you see, I must also say that we have an organization called the Directorate General Resettlement at Army Headquarters. Okay. And at every command headquarters, we have the offshoot of that to look after the various areas. Now, these officers and the staff there, they're supposed to, before a Jawan retires, they're supposed to organize some vocational training for them.
Okay.
So as I mentioned earlier, like a Jawan who's just firing a gun or sitting a tank man, so he should learn to know. Say, for example, he can very easily use as a fireman. He can be used in various electricity departments, because it doesn't require much. Now, corporates can definitely help. Now, CSR funds, I don't have the order right now, but it is given in that certain percentage of CSR funds can be used for ex-servicemen welfare.
Okay.
And in that thing, I must say that when I was director Raj Sainik Board, I mean Sainik Kalyan, we had got
Right.
funds from Tata's. Tata has
Okay.
a philanthropy division, and they have been
Okay.
giving, and so they have been giving funds. Like even we started a small thing, like any JCOs or Jawan's son or daughter joins the army, we gave him an incentive of 50,000 rupees, and also it caters for his initial, cost of going to Khadak.
Yeah.
And now girls join, so
Okay.
we are getting that. So one is
Okay.
the getting the money. That is one thing. What you mentioned. The second is that corporates can absorb these people in their various factories. They can be foremen, and little training they can become welders. They can become machine men. And I don't think because they're all hardy people. They are from the villages, bulk of them. So I think the corporate can use them. Only thing is that bulk of our corporates are in Mumbai, Pune, and bigger cities, while bulk of our retired ex-servicemen are in North India. So I'm not saying North India does not have industry. So that has to, because after retirement of 20 years or 25 years, he doesn't want to leave his home.
Right.
And you can imagine you are staying in Bombay. How can a person with whatever pension he gets at 25,000 come and stay in Bombay? So that has to be, managed. How we do that?
Right.
Then we have these, dairy, Mother Dairy had started a system of Safal, management of CNG petrol pumps that is being done, and of course security agencies, which now everybody requires. So
Right.
that is a few things we can take on from them. Railways again a very big employer. They do an extra. And I found in Bombay when I went last that some boys have been taking the police. So that is a very good thing that police can utilize them.
Yeah.
But corporates have to think, and like now many places they have big industry coming up, Noida, uh, Gurgaon, other places. So we can, they can add on.
Correct. So that is a brilliant thing. So at least now that we have a perspective that yes, people are getting absorbed in different sectors. That is really good. What
Yeah.
about the children? What could be the approach of the children for martyrs and disabled soldiers by the society and corporates? So
Yeah,
what should be?
Deepika, you touched a very raw nerve. Now, I must also go back on this term martyr. Now,
Okay.
in the army or defense, we don't have this term martyr. This is a media created thing that Shaheed. No, we
Okay.
have a physical casualty or a battle casualty. Now, when I say battle casualty, it means either war or during a counterinsurgency, like for example, in Naxalite area, or cross-border firing. So
Okay.
as per the civil, these become martyr. Now, what about the large number of our men and officers who unfortunately pass away because of medical reasons? Medical, not because of this thing. They are posted in high altitude, 17,000. They have their various diseases which come up. A petrol falls in a crevasse. A vehicle is going in, the thing it falls in a khud. Now, all these people are physical casualties who do not get the full benefit of this thing. So there are large number of casualties when both, I mean, people dead or wounded. Some are
Okay.
disabled. We have in Pune a very this thing paraplegic center where we taking care of these people. So now coming to your question about the children, that's a very very important thing because the Jawan may not be educated, but today I say with some records available that National Defense Academy, almost 55% cadets are wards of JCOs and Jawans. Officers, children are, yeah. But then there's a catch. Now, these people are, these are people of the educated corps, like for example, the Air Force, the Navy, Army Medical Corps, Army Engineering Corps, EME. While coming, I come back to, because I'm an infantryman, I come back to my infantry soldier. His
Right.
children are, have the disadvantage. But notwithstanding that, so we need to nurture these children. And as a director, Sainik Kalyan, I had the opportunity of visiting number of these districts in UP. So we were we had number of schemes to train these people, in various things, computer, fashion designing, training for Army Service Selection Board. That is what the government is doing. Now, what the society can do is, they can, collectively, of course, pandemic is a problem, but then, on the virtual, they can take care of them, they can mentor them, they can guide them. If you are a doctor, you are an engineer, how to plan your trip, how to plan studies. And if children want to do something more, a lot of the children you see, daughter of a auto rickshaw chap has become Miss India. So all these things, so they have to be, and these children are very smart, there's no doubt. So they have to be taken on, give them training, give them guidance, and give them some training. I mean, in the sense that you give them the correct guidance plus the push that you can do it. That's more important. So now in this, CSR funds can be utilized for this purpose. And now we can also say that these children, now we are seeing that NCC cadets are being called up for the help in pandemic. So this is one way, to help out people. And I think if people from corporate like you think of this thing, we will have a better future for these children.
Amazing. So this has been like a very, 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 very enchanting conversation. So I just wanted, before we get into some last views, I wanted everybody that is joining us from Brigadier Amulya Mohan's side, please follow the Paradigm Shift page, because we bring you inspiring stories of like himself, where people are doing so much for the society, for the betterment of the society. And everybody that is joining us from the Paradigm Shift, we're going to wait for Brigadier Amulya Mohan's last views on, how we should get more people helping, for the resettlement of this. There is one question from Yashpal: the same disturbance that inflicted one involving myself and Dr. Anita plagues the Brigadier stream as well. What is that? There is some interview mein kuch hua hoga, so that anyway. So I thought it was a question related to you. Anyway, so would you like to tell our viewers something regarding the army, or regarding ex-servicemen, anything?
Yeah, I firstly would like to say that since I was away most of the time and I couldn't take care of my children, so my wife was a big support, and I must say that she nurtured and trained my children, both of them, and we allowed them the liberty of joining whatever profession or whatever they. So like elder son did economic honors and then shifted to mass comm and then into film word and now script writing. The younger one didn't want to join the army. He did his engineering, worked in the civil, and then because of his friends and this thing, he said, okay. So he's there. Like he is, of course, a very youngster active, and of course, he joined my battalion. We have a concept of parental claim. That is, if I served in a battalion, your son can join that.
Okay.
The last word about this is that first and foremost is that the society must give respect to the ex-servicemen. That is one thing.
Yeah. Yes.
Other day we had an incident where one of the person passed away before the pandemic, and his daughter and son-in-law was running for their death certificate. It took them long time. So this is one thing which the society and the government staff. And second is to, especially our widows, Kargil widows. Kargil started the concept of, a lot of issues. That is very important. Of course, today we are passing through very tough times, and I must say with conviction that a lot of our ex-servicemen, retired, are coming back to help out the government. In fact, today also there was a paper that, of course, I have also offered myself, but they said you are 65 plus, so we'll tell you to help out others in the way you want, whatever. And last point is, I must say that one incident I remember, very, very nice incident when, I'm not a political man, I would just give a small thing about both our chief ministers of UP whom I served with. Previous on Akhilesh Yadav ji. I used to go to him for the flag day, and when I went to him, he says, fine. But the way he respected the brigadier, he came up to my car to see me off. That is very great thing about, because he himself had studied in a military school. And the present Chief Minister Yogi ji, when he went to his office first time, that was amazing. I went with one of my Air Force group captain, and we both went, and of course, we gave our respect, saluted him, of course, we saluted. He got up from his chair and said, Namaskar, Brigadier Sabha. And when we were coming back again, he got. So I have never seen a chief minister getting up for a brigadier. That was amazing. So these things we learned from, these people, of course, I later on learned that Yogi ji's elder brother is a Subedar Sahib in the scouts, but that is not understanding. So I think the respect has to be given. And काम छोटे-छोटे होते हैं, किसी का death cert बनना है, birth cert बनना है, so these things need to be, and I think if you give respect, we'll be very happy.
Right. That is so amazing. So if we have any questions from the viewers regarding the ex-servicemen, we would like to take them. Amita Koshava says great. And there are a lot of viewers that have been sending hearts and likes. So we can wait for some questions. Any other, if your throat permits, were there any other interesting stories that you like to tell us from, the battlefield or the Siachen or something like that?
Okay. I'll tell you. I was this is January 1981. I was newly married, and we were on the line of control in the Naushera sector. And that night, my commanding officer said, Amulya, we have to, because a lot of places the infiltration takes place, so we have to lay mines. We lay mines below the ground. These are called anti-personal mines. You would have heard. Which blow off when a person steps on it. So I told my wife, we are going for some patrolling. Then we went near the border, and the Pakistani post was just opposite. So we had to lay the mines very quietly and all. And fortunately, we could do the job and come back. When we're coming back, some firing took place. But luckily, none of our soldiers injured. So when I came back and told my wife, she was totally aghast. She says, "What?" And so I said, "Yes, you joined a Fauji as a wife, so you have to see it." But yes, in Manipur and Nagaland, we had a lot of incidents where we had close quarters and bullets flying, and that was it. But fortunately for me, I came unscathed and with very few casualties during my command of the battalion.
Okay. Just one comment. Manas Mohan says, I promise that I will ensure that every ex-serviceman and every serviceman and ex-serviceman around me gets due respect. That is nice.
Thank you.
And Atul Raizada has a question. Has any proposal been made to the Commerce Ministry about using the CSR funds?
Yes. The second question about Atul Raizada, very much there is a government order I will convey to you later, which says CSR funds can be used for assisting the basically financial aid, financial to these martyrs and their widows and things like that. That is, as I mentioned, Tata is giving us funds in UP for various scholarship schemes for the children. Because I must come back that unfortunately, if a person is martyred or dies, so the government of India, as per the policy, gives adequate compensation. I'm not trying to say it is X amount of, but that is not the issue. The issue comes up because especially I'm coming back to the JCOs in Jawan, because the Jawan's wife is uneducated, she's young, children are very small, so the long life she has to carry on. And in Kargil time, we had a lot of incidents where the ladies got married to their brother-in-law, and then after some time that gentleman ran away. So we have to be very particular that caring for these widows and children is more important. a person who retires and comes back, large number of our Jawans come back to the villages, they start doing farming or doing some own vocation. So that's all right. But the problem is of these widows and their children. So
Okay.
CSR funds can be used for that. Yeah.
All right. There's one question from Manas Mohan. What's the status of the OROP movement, sir?
Oh.
If you'd like to take it.
No. It's not with me. It's the case is in Supreme Court, and I have nothing to say against the highest court of the country. They've had number of dates. क्या बोलते हैं तारीख पे तारीख पड़ती जा रही है. So in fact, last was I think a month back. So we keep getting this thing. So far nothing. Supreme Court has to give a decision. I think a lot of all the documents have been submitted both by so they have to take a call. I've got nothing to say in that. Our ex-servicemen league is fighting on that issue. Yeah.
Okay. I want to read two comments. Yashpal says, Brigadier Sir, I would love for the army to play a larger administrative role in the political setup, compulsory training for the youth of the nation. On the other hand, I am glad for the armed forces not to be involved, or we would experience the same moral turpitude befall the institution. That's one. And then Seema says, very nice interview. We will definitely get down to guide the children of the Jawans, and they should be brought into the mainstream. One more answering that, Yashpal says, Seema, the armed forces have a great practice of the army wives visiting families of the regiment Jawans and addressing the issues. And Atul Raizada says, any rough estimate of the ex-servicemen found placement carried out during your tenure? If you'd like to comment on all of these.
Coming to first Mr. Yashpal. Now, this issue every time, compulsory military training for our youth. Well, you see, our country is rather huge, 135 crores or whatever. Anyway, coming to the youth thing. So, one thing is National Cadet Corps, NCC is one issue which they're training people. So, that is quite a large number. I don't have the figures how many cadets are in NCC, both boys and girls. And every year on 27th January, we have the NCC parade where the Prime Minister takes a look in Delhi. So, that is one thing. Now, training the all able-bodied men of the country, compulsory military training for 2 years or whatever, is a very big thing. I mean, it's a major issue, both financially as well as management of these. I must say that we have, in the past, we have trained these police forces which are operating in Naxalite areas, etc. We train them also. But I will not answer this question any further because compulsory training is a decision of the government. If possible, yes, why not? But I don't think it's possible at the moment.
Right.
Then coming to the question of a number of ex-servicemen, this thing now during our in each state, at least northern India states, we also have a cooperation. Like in UP, we have a UP Pool Sainik Kalyan Nigam, right? So I have the figures like they have security staff, data entry operators, drivers, hospital staff, technical services.
Okay.
So almost 80% they employ the ex-servicemen, and about 20% they also allow the dependents. So what figure I checked last week was about 25,000 ex-servicemen have been employed by them. Now they are employed on contract basis by various departments of the government and this thing. So the figures will keep varying, of course. Like certain departments, they don't want people. Now, in the Lucknow, for example, this SGPGI, we have a large number of boys, both in the technical side as well as security. Mm-hmm. So that stickers are there. We put people in banks, both in the security as well as clerical staff. Then a number of these other agencies also want defense people now. So it's a good thing. Yeah. But it has to be organized by the Pool Sainik Kalyan Nigam, which was done.
Okay. Apurva, sorry, did you finish? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Apurva Raizada says, wonderful interview. What safety and health measures government is taking for the armed forces units actively involved in the pandemic? Also, do they come under the 50L insurance facility by the government? Would you like to take that question?
Well, presently I'm not in the active service. I will not make a comment on the thing, but yes, I have been checking up with my own unit, to Rajput. All the defense people have been given both the vaccines.
Okay.
That's one for sure. Now, as far as the insurances cover is concerned, we already have an insurance cover, which of course we pay for it, and so that insurance covers there. I will not make a comment on Mr. Purva about the whether any additional insurance has been given to the serving soldiers who are involved.
Okay. All right.
That is a policy which I will not make comment. I can check up and let him know later.
Okay. All right. So I want to know one basic thing. Say, like, if I'm a corporate and if I would like to reach out to people, like say welders, fitters, and all that.
Yeah.
So
Whom do
how
you
does
approach?
one,
Yes.
yeah, how does one get
Correct.
to these people?
Yes, very right. A good question, because you see, like I was in Uttar Pradesh. So if you were in UP, you would ask we have every district in UP, of course, in Maharashtra also, the district combined. Like I think in Bombay, there is one office in Bandra. So we call it the Jilla Sainik Board or Jilla Sainik Kalyan Adhikari. Now they have the complete data of ex-servicemen of that district or districts.
Yes.
So I was told by some people when I was in Bombay that they'd gone to them. So they have the data. They are available on the website. So, like for example, the Directorate of Sainik Kalyan of Maharashtra is in Pune, because Pune being so they have the headquarters there, but they have various districts there. So they have the data. So, example, you wanted some people in your company or something, so you can approach them, and they have the record. If they'll ask that person, you please approach, go to Mrs. Mehra and present your credentials. If you find the person fit, you take. That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. So we could probably put in some, if you could help me at after the interview when we upload this, if you could help me with some email IDs or links or the website or whatever, and we can Google them. We can put that with this interview, and
I
so
will
that
give for the entire. I'll give for the entire all the states. We have data.
that'll be amazing, because what will happen is people who are watching it right now and people who will watch it in the future, anybody who has a corporate setup or who has the capacity to employ more people from the army, which will be very good, which are trained so well to protect us and fight for us, and all that. So I'm sure they'll be such an asset in our this. Any Shilpi Tayal Agrawal says, happy to know that all the soldiers are vaccinated. Yes, Shilpi. So that has been an amazing thing. If you'd like to add any more comments, if throat permitting, I know you have a bad throat this morning.
I must say that it's a real pleasure interacting with you, and so many people are asking questions about this. We hope things improve, because taking care of ex-servicemen, I think, is like a noble service, and because they have lived their life in difficult areas. And as I come back again, that officers are fortunate because officers do retire a little late. And
yeah.
Last point is that the present we have this CDS General Rawat. He's also taken up case that we must increase the retirement ages of.
Yeah.
But the retirement age increase will again be as again saying technical people begin more, because if person is trained on a missile mechanic, why throw him out at the age of 45? So if a person is getting trained for the aircraft mechanic, he should so it will again be graduated. The soldier will have not the last priority, but again, coming back to the point, is keep the army young. So
Right.
We need to work on that, and we hope things do improve, and with people like you and corporates listening to us and helping the ex-servicemen will be great.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Just one second. Nafisa Bhatnagar says very nicely explained everything. Thank you. Yashpal says privileged to have heard the Brigadier. So this has been a very, very interesting conversation. And so we urge everybody that is going to be listening to this interview after we upload it. This is going to be a very, very noble cause. All the NGOs, all the corporates, if we can, work towards getting the ex-servicemen into the mainstream, that will be very nice for the Jawans, for their wives and the children. So thank you so much, Brigadier. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope your throat gets better. And take care, and we shall see you more on the.
Jai Hind.
Thank you so much. Jai Hind. Thank you. Bye-bye.